Good morning, dearest students. Today I am going to commence a wonderful story of a Scottish novelist and a travel writer, Robert Louis Stevenson. The name of this composition is The Black Spot, that is taken from the masterpiece by Robert Louis Stevenson's composition The Treasure Island. So before we proceed further, we have to know some important facts about Robert Louis Stevenson. Somehow we can say that it is the short biography of Robert Louis Stevenson. Robert Louis Stevenson 1850 to 1894 was a Scottish novelist and a travel writer. Coming from a family of engineers, Stevenson studied engineering at University of Edinburgh, but he spent most of his time writing or traveling. Between 1880 and 1887, he continued to spend his time in Scotland, England and France. So from this statement, it is quite clear that he was a traveler. He wanted to wander various places and explore his happiness everywhere. It was during this period that he produced a bulk of his best novels like Treasure Island, that was published in the year 1881 to 1882, Kidnapped, that was published in the year 1886, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, that was published in the year 1886. So students, this was a small biography about Robert Louis Stevenson. Now our present chapter, The Black Spot, is all about adventures. Okay, so this R.L. Stevenson, for his novel Treasure Island, invented a literary device which he named a black spot actually. So in this novel he calls pirates the black spot. This was to pronounce a verdict of guilt. This consisted of a circular paper which had one side blackened while the other side had a message, and was handed over to the accused. While the captain was significantly weakened by the stroke, and the narrator was preoccupied by all the duties and responsibilities of his family's other chores like his father's funeral, a blind beggar visited the narrator's house and asked him to take him to the captain. When he reached there, he gave the captain a piece of paper with a black circle on one side and some words scribbled on the other. The beggar walks off as if he was never blind, and the captain is so shocked by whatever is written on the piece of paper that he dies. So what is the consequence? The consequence is that he died. So overall the story, we can say it is very sad one, revolving around the theme of sorrow. So this was a small theme from my side. Now students, I would explain the whole chapter to you line by line and you will understand the core idea. So it is written that my poor father died quite suddenly. It means what? It means that here the narrator is saying that he witnessed his father's sudden demise, which put all other matters on one side. So that time all the work, everything came to a standstill. So there was only one work, that he had to shoulder upon the duties of funeral arrangements and all. Our natural distress, the visits of the neighbors, the arranging of the funeral and all the work of the inn to be carried on in that meanwhile kept me so busy that I scarcely had time to think of the captain, far less to be afraid of him. What is written? Now his father's sudden demise was the natural distress for everyone. It is very obvious that if any guardian dies in any family, so it would be just bondation, it would be a burden for the other members of the same family. Here it happened the same, so it was considered to be the natural distress. And as because that when any person dies, so the neighbors, they just make some frequent visits over there. So the visiting of the neighbors were very obvious, and I was so busy, means the narrator was so preoccupied with the other course, with the course of his father's funeral duty and all. So he hardly had noticed the captain. Now the question raises, sir, who is the captain? Until and unless we read the whole story, so we cannot judge, we cannot consider the just recognition of the captain. So we assume that the captain was the captain of any ship, probably he was the head of any ship, probably. Okay, and it is written that the captain was very dreaded one, means very scary character, and that is why the narrator was quite afraid of him. Okay, so it is written he got downstairs next morning and had his meals as usual, though he ate little. Singing was his favorite pastime. No one dared to cross him when he burst into a song. On the night before the funeral, he was singing his ugly old sea songs. It was shocking to hear those songs, but he had grown very weak after the stroke, and nobody messed with him. We were all in the fear of death for him, and the doctor was suddenly taken up with a case many miles away. So what it is written? It is written that the captain of the ship, he just got downstairs next morning of the next morning, in the sense of when the funeral was done. So after that, the next morning, he took his meal as usual. Okay, but that time somehow I don't think that he satiated his hunger, so he took a little bit food. And as because singing was his favorite pastime, so whenever he got the opportunity, so he was seen preoccupied with singing songs. Okay, so singing was his favorite pastime, and no one dared to cross him when he burst into a song. So he was in his own completely isolated world, that nobody had any courage or dare to cross him when he was seen busy in singing. And it is also evident that on the night before the funeral, he was singing his most ugly sea songs. So now it is clear that as because he was sea songs, so he was the merchant of any ship, right? So he was the captain of any ship. And it was quite shocking to hear those songs, but he had grown very weak after the stroke, and nobody messed with him. We were all in the fear of death for him, and the doctor was suddenly taken up with the case many miles away. So it is clearly written that he had the health condition was not well of the captain. So the captain was significantly weakened by the stroke, and the narrator was preoccupied by all the duties and responsibility of his father's funeral. Okay, and no one dared to cross him, no one dared to come across or meet frequently to him, because he did not like to be surrounded by the other people. So the captain was one sort of very solitary person. He wanted to be isolated all the time. Okay, but somehow, as because we were also the social being, we were the human being, so we were feared, we were scared of his death, because he was significantly weakened after the stroke. But still no one would take the responsibility of recovering, of healing that person. The captain continued to grow weaker. He clambered up and down stairs, walked to the parlor and back again, and sometimes put his nose out of the doors to smell the sea, holding on to the walls for support as he went, and breathing hard and fast like a man on a steep mountain. So it is written in this paragraph that the captain continued to grow weaker day by day. He spent his day by climbing up and sometimes climbing down the stairs. Sometimes he walked to the parlor and he just used to come back again. And sometimes he just put his nose out of the doors. He wanted to smell the sea. He could not resist his temptation to visit the sea once again. Okay, so people, suppose who are the nature lover, or whoever has such kind of profession, so they also, or they always prone to visit the or explore the other places, as because the captain seldom he could see his own house. He was separated from his own family, so most of the time he was very close to the nature, he was very close to the sea. That is why he just put his nose out of the doors and he wanted to smell the sea. and he used to hold on to the walls for support as he went, and breathing hard and fast like a man on a steep mountain. So his health condition was not up to the mark. He was significantly weakened, rapidly, we can say. He never particularly addressed me. What does it mean? It means he had no good correspondence or communication with the narrator. His temper was more flighty in the sense of very fluctuating, sometimes very harsh he became, and sometimes he, just behaved very tender or very soft, right? This is written flighty and more violent than ever. And sometimes he became very violent than ever. Now he drew his cutlass very alarmingly and kept it bare before him on the table, but with all that he minded people less and seemed shut up in his own thoughts and rather wondering. Once, for instance, to our extreme wonder, he piped up to a different air a kind of country love song that he must have learned in his youth before he had begun to follow the sea. What is written? So first word, cutlass means what? Cutlass is a short sword with a curved blade. So it is written that he had no good communication with the narrator. His temper was very fluctuating and he became violent than ever sometimes. And sometimes he drew his sword very alarmingly, and he just kept it open before the narrator on the table. And but with all that he minded people less, and he seemed shut up in his own thoughts. It means he had nothing to do with the other people of this world. He was busy in his own solitary world. What problem he was suffering from, nobody knew, but he even did not share it to the other people. And sometimes he just created a different environment. He used to sing some love song about a country, right, that he must have learned in his youth before he had begun to follow the sea. So somehow, some people who just serve their nations, they defend their country from the attackers, from the tyrannies, from the outsiders. So somehow we can also think that this person may be the soldier or maybe the merchant. So it is not clear, as because I have already mentioned that this is the part, actually this is the extracted version from the Treasure Island. So now we just consider him to be the captain of a ship, but some sentences are very clear that he might be the soldier as well, because some patriotism, love towards country, this sort of feelings, emotions have been shown here. So sometimes he used to sing some love song of his country, okay, and sometimes he used to sing some youthful songs, what he had learned before he had begun to follow the sea. So things passed until the day after the funeral, and about 3 o'clock of a bitter, foggy, frosty afternoon, I was standing at the door for a moment, full of sad thoughts about my father, when I saw someone drawing slowly near. Along the road he was plainly blind, for he tapped before him with a stick and wore a great green shade over his eyes and nose, and he was hunched as if with age or weakness, and wore a huge old tattered sea cloak with a hood that made him appear positively deformed. I never saw in my life a more dreadful looking figure. He stopped a little away from the inn, and raising his voice in an odd sing-song, addressed the air in front of him. Will ye, any kind of friend, inform a poor blind man who has lost the precious sight of his eyes in the gracious defense of his native country, England? And God bless King George, where or in what part of his country he may be now. So here some words are there. First word, foggy or frosty. So it is the winter season. The whole scenario, the whole atmosphere was immersed with fog, okay, and that is why it was very vague. It was not clear atmosphere. That is why this foggy and frosty afternoon, this word has been used. Second word is hunched. You can see hunched, this particular word, this red bold letter, hunched. What is the meaning of hunched? Hunched means with the top part of the body that is bending forward, and when your shoulders and back rest very high. So this position of standing is known as hunched. Next word is in. What is in? In is a type of accommodation. It is a type of abode or shelter where people come frequently, they stay for a while and they just go away after paying some rent and all, right? So this is in. Okay, so what it is written? It is written that some days passed, actually his father died. He was busy, and he was preoccupied, he was immersed in his own sad thoughts. He was memorizing, or you can say he was recollecting his past or his childhood days when he used to spend some quality or standard time with father, right? So this is very melodramatic, this is very melancholy, we can say. It is very saddest moment actually of one's life when you lose very close one of yours. So then the whole world turns to be very dark, turns to be very saddest one. And the same thing happened here. So things passed until the day after the funeral, and about it was at what was the time? The time was 3 o'clock. It was a wintry afternoon, and the narrator was standing at the door for a moment. He was immersed in sad thoughts about his father when he saw someone coming very slowly near along the road. So he was apparently looking like a blind person, the way he was tapping the road with his stick. Okay, and he put on a great green color shade over his eyes and nose. His standing position was not straight, so his top part of the body was bending forward, and somehow he was balancing himself with the crouch he had carried. Okay, and he just put on one huge old torn sea cloak, and it had a hood that made him appear positively very physically handicapped person. But still, though he was physically handicapped, but the narrator is mentioning here he has never experienced such person, such a dreadful person in his lifetime. So he stopped a little away. It means the strange person stopped a little away from the inn, from the shelter, and he raised his voice. Probably he was looking for someone else, and he shouted for help. He wanted to get help for because he was he was looking for a person. Okay, so as because he was poor, he was blind, so he needed some sort of help. So he was saying something that was all about patriotism. He was saying that he lost his sight in defending his country, his native country. So this statement shows his love, his intense love towards his country, right? So now we can guess, we can assume that that strange person might be a soldier, because it is written that he has lost the precious sight of his eyes in the gracious defense of his native country, England. So he was the native of England, and that time the king of England was George, and he wished George could or should live longer. And now where or in what part of this country he may now be? What does it mean? It means that he was finding his friend here. Okay, and who might be the friend? So we can assume that the person, that the captain of the ship might be the friend of this strange deformed personality. So he was looking for his friend, the captain. "You are at the Admiral Benbow, Black Hill Cove, my good man," said I. So here the narrator replied that he is in the Admiral Benbow, Black Hill Cove. "I hear a voice," said he, "a young voice. Will you give me your hand, my kind young friend, and lead me in?" As because he was physically handicapped, so he required some sort of help, and that is why he wanted to get help or cooperation from the other people. So he could sense that somebody, so here somebody is the narrator was standing over there, so he raised his hand and he asked for help, that is there someone who can lead me to my oldest friend, the captain, Bill. I held out my hand, and the horrible soft spoken eyeless creature gripped it in a moment like a vice. I was so much startled that I struggled to withdraw, but the blind man pulled me close up to him with a single action of his arm. Now, boy, he said, take me in to the captain. So here some contradictory situation is there. So, apparently the strange man, the blind man, was looking very weakened, very weak. So he could not walk even, right? But here, after holding the narrator's hand, he just gripped it very tightly. So he was startled, he was surprised at his grip. It was a very strong hand actually. So he had held his hand in strength. Okay, so he wanted to get rid of the situation, he wanted to come out of the situation, but he was very dreadful personality, and he ordered the narrator to take him to the captain of the ship. And what was the name of the captain? Bill is the name of the captain. So somehow we can see the whole situation is gonna be changed. Okay, so the person, do not judge a book by its cover. So apparently he was looking very weak, very deafening, or very partial blind or something else, but he had muscular strength, and somehow it was very dangerous for the narrator as well. The narrator could not justify properly what to do next. There was no any option to be out. Okay, and that is why there is one option left, that I have to send this man, this strange man, to the captain Bill, right? So this is the first part of this story. In my second video lecture, I will cover the rest of the portion. Students, I suggest everyone to go through the chapter carefully. Okay, mention the difficult words and try to consult the dictionary. And still, if you have any problems, if you have any queries in understanding the chapter well, so let me know, okay, through my YouTube channel comments. So stay tuned with me. Take care. Goodbye.